Oh yeah, I'm bumping. We got the logo on the screen. We're bumping.
I think it's better, honestly. I would rather be able to do than STL. Are we live?
Yeah.
Good.
We got the beats flowing. The logo's on the screen. And we're going, which is cool because it takes a second for everything to get connected. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Social Authority. It's the show that is going to increase in volume this year. We've got Zach Jalbert, also known as Alan. We've got Pat Imig and your host, Pat Hilton, here on Social Authority. So we're going to be broadcasting a lot more live because it's really an efficient way and an efficient use of time when it comes to getting video content. Because while you do need to be scripting stuff and you need to be doing stuff for your website and for your funnels and for your pinned reels and all these things that you're using to sell your products or services, you also need to be having conversations with people that you can do business with and that can connect you to other experts in specific fields that you want to take an adventure in. So, Pat, welcome back. Zach,
Hey.
Welcome back. We're here having a good time and it's rolling.
Hi from Alan.
It's wacky indeed. I'll tell you, I didn't think that I would come to Dallas and freeze my ass off.
Well, yeah, I mean, it is the middle of the winter, so
I
it's
understand that.
It's kind of part of the deal.
It's balmy, though, here compared to St. Louis, from what I've been told. So that's nice.
It snowed today, Dallas. So
There were some flurries.
I was really looking forward to seeing the Dallas snow.
Check that off the bucket list.
Yeah, it was an exciting thing, I'm sure, for you.
Incredible.
Yeah, it's what we like to see. So we've been talking a lot and working a lot in the trenches here at the Content Hub of Dallas on how to build yourself as a social authority, as a business and as a personal brand. And even if you follow us, you know that a lot of the CEOs or coaches or consultants that I work with either acquire real estate and businesses and run multiple companies and multiple portfolios with multiple partners, and they need marketing. And so we come in and we take that off their plate. But also at the same time, those businesses and those companies, along with them being who they are, also need social media service too. And so we're looking at something that's going to grow and continue to grow over the next 5 years. And that is a need for an online digital presence in multiple categories, whether it's organic and boosting or boosting and this all goes in multiple ways. And, you know, Zach and I have been talking about stuff that I don't even talk about because I'm a social media guy and we don't care about anything but social media. But in today's day and age, you have to care about it all, or at least have it handled by somebody that can do it for you, because it can't go unchecked. Just like we say that you need to have a brand and you need to be active on social media, so does your business. And so let's talk about what that looks like, the difference between a personal brand and a landing page and a website for your company. Because a lot of people that are watching this right now don't care about anything but personal branding, because that's what they do. And then there's a whole nother group of my friends that we service and we do their personal branding for, because they don't care about personal branding at all. And all they do is focus on their companies. And so my entire audience that follows this show is split between like business owners and coaches and consultants. And they're both business models and they're both great services, and all these people are very successful. But there's a difference between a business and a consultant or a coach. They're different things. And so you have to market them differently. And so a personal brand or a podcaster, a streamer or whatever, a Jake Paul or a personality is different than you're hiring a team to do a specific service, or you're going to a website to buy a specific product. Those are different things than working with a person.
That is.
And so, you know, high ticket offers where it's one-on-one, people are willing to pay a premium for that and they get better service. And so a lot of us in the coaching and consulting space that are owner or operator consultants like me, that's what we focus on, because that's what makes us money. And so how do I integrate what I already do into a web platform that helps me sync all the stuff that already works into one place? And some people, this is social media. Like, you can go through your whole life story on social media and it's all there. Saves all the pictures, saves everything you wrote, saves every place that you went. And that's how the website can function for people as well. And so let's explain how that works, especially with podcasts like we talked about. I could be putting each episode up as its own blog.
Yeah.
And it can rank and help my pages grow and all of that.
Yeah, well, with you, Pat, it's really easy because you're so active that really it's just the idea of, like right now, if you're watching on, are we on Spotify?
It will be rebroadcasted
Right.
on Spotify
Exactly.
and the video too.
Perfect. So for someone like you who is so active on so many places, it's a lot easier to send people to the centralized location. And you can always have landing pages. You can have different types of digital landing, digital funnels and things of that nature. But when you're trying to actually centralize a customer experience,
right,
and centralize it around a brand, websites just add a tremendous amount of credibility. So I think one thing we just want to start with is no one needs anything, okay?
Right.
But if you aspire to have the best personal brand that you can possibly have, you therefore need to have a company. That company probably is going to be able to charge a higher price if they have a brand. And then I guess Pat probably can take it over from here because the website is really just a reflection of the culture and the community that you already have.
Right.
And that's coming from someone with over a decade of experience in SEO. I can optimize you for keywords. I can build you pages and blogs for days. But if there's no response, if there's no genuine community or culture behind what you're doing, the website is all just a bunch of stuff engineered to make you look legit. So with you, it's a lot easier for me because I'm just taking your company, I'm taking what you naturally do. Don't get me wrong. I mean, we did a little bit of branding work, or
we did
we did
totally
a little bit of it, but you're already doing so much that really it's just taking all the great stuff you're doing and just making it look credible on a website, and we happen to build websites.
Right. And I think that people who are social media users get stuck using like Stan stores and like breakout links and just go listen to my podcast. And so I think that's why funnels became so popular, because it's like we're kind of selling us or time with us on our one-on-one service. And so it's hard to kind of say what that is as a Tesla or a SpaceX when really, you really have to have that to be the best in the space. Everyone knows Nike sells basketball shoes.
Well, it's a lot more difficult to manage something that isn't essentially a no code funnel. Websites themselves, like what you name, your permalinks, all this stuff. I think the problem with a website is that there's many masters even within the organization. So the challenge is that a website really has to serve everyone, has to serve the staff, the different departments. And there's so many utilities for it. The better, the more capable the company is that manages your site is. Most companies actually integrate their website with their client experience, right? So they'll have logins, they'll have dashboards, stuff like that. But in terms of marketing, that is actually a way bigger challenge than everything I just mentioned, because when you start building a site and it reflects a brand and it reflects the company, it's highly visible. It's essentially one of the first things that anyone sees, whether they're potential customer, current, they're going to try and apply for a job. I mean, it really does unify the experience around a digital ecosphere. So I think that, it's not impossible. It's just you have to know what you want. You have to be aligned. And Pat, you knew what you wanted. You were aligned.
Right.
So we just moved fast. I think it's going to be up. The template's going to be up very shortly. So maybe I'll have some more info about that later in the show.
Well, and I post about it because I have been a ClickFunnels user for a long time, and I probably will remain a landing page user.
Love ClickFunnels.
But like we're talking about, and this is the important thing, because Zach's been like, no, you don't understand. I'm like, no, I do understand. I understand. A landing page is different than a website. And I think as coaches and consultants, we're focused on our offer and our offer only. We want to get people to get on the phone with us for that offer. But that is not, that's only a one page. What did you call it? The products page? That's the products page on your website. So that's okay. And it's great that you have that. And a lot of people that I know are like the best in the world at that thing, which is how I learned how to build websites. Was you need a sales funnel, you need a specific offer, because you can't just scale yourself singing in the bar corner forever. And now it's I need to clone myself as a virtual. It's true.
Well, I know.
Now I have to clone myself as a virtual coach that supplies people with topics and a video strategy and filming, and get 9 different paths to film all day every day, and we can work with a gazillion clients all over the world. But there's got to be a portal for everybody to go to.
That's right.
Because it's just gotten to the point where it's not just me as a consultant anymore. It's a whole team. It's a whole company.
Yeah. Yeah. And
it needed to be promoted as that.
I think yeah. I mean, if you have a business and the business is built off of your personal brand, I don't know. I mean, if you have other businesses you built, typically might look a little bit more credible to some people, but personality sells, connection sells.
Yeah.
It's not like I wouldn't see someone who has a business built off of 100% of personal brand and wouldn't really respect what they do. I hire consultants all the time at personal brands, and it does come up. I ask them, do you have any other companies you own?
Right.
Sometimes they do. And they're very sleek, well-run machines. They don't have to have a lot of fancy stuff. I really believe in a digital brand experience, like an online experience, being tied to selling premium services and pricing.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think that your angle of online is more web-based and SEO and website than a social media user.
Yeah,
and
data.
So the job of me as a social media person anyway is to get people to go to a landing page. And I've gotten really good at that. So now all I have to do is take that landing page and move it into one of the buckets of podcast, media, streaming, so that I can show everybody for free how to get on video. And then if they want to select my services, they can. But it's gotten bigger than just fill out this form. You know what I mean? Everybody has to start somewhere.
That is true.
It's gotten bigger than just fill out this jot form.
Yeah, having like some type of interactive approach. And I'll use an example. We have a flooring client in St. Louis, and we are rock solid at running a video ad to targeted people, targeted audiences, getting them to that page, and then they use the product visualizers so they can see what these products look like in their home. We've been working with this client for 5 years now, and they're killing it because we are literally using video ads to get people to experience what it's like to work with them before they even step foot in the store. Because they go to the website, they see all the reviews, and they see all the products, and then they're like, okay, I can now see what this looks like right now. That's also, they're not like unique in that regard. You can go to homedepot.com and like use a product visualizer. The point is they're the only flooring company in the area that has this strategy because they're the only ones working with us. And we're sending 900 people a month to their website on a limited budget.
Those are high ticket clients too.
Which goes
Crazy.
to the point too. I think there's way too much like in the marketing space. There's way too much like, overthinking and like all this technical jargon where people act like running an ad is like so impossible to do. And the reality is, if you just have a good piece of video content that serves as the vehicle, you don't need to know all the different tricks of using these, the meta suite. And like they just throw these words out there to make them look credible. The reality is you just need a good, simple piece of content that's the vehicle that gets people to the website.
Yeah, all the optimization stuff, those are for the specialists. Like that stuff changes every couple months. So if you're someone who's really concerned right now about some specific thing, like I think what happens is people try something and then it starts working and then they start doing more of it and then they get into an optimization frenzy. But that stuff is moving so fast, right? So Facebook just Facebook MetaSuite itself, like the platform, how you operate it, like they change where things are all the time. They change the ways that.
Yeah, it's never a fun experience.
That's kind of what I'm saying. So I try to tell business owners, there is so much you can do by yourself. When you get to the idea of, now you have a community, it's a little hard to keep the reins in your hands without really having a skilled online experience in general, and so that's where all that kind of plays in. Is it's like you really have to be thinking about the business, lead gen, and all those avenues. Those things are going to change, but the absolute identity of your company and how it dominates online is going to be through content. Like you said, it's going to be through content. And realistically, I mean, we don't have to say this now, but it's actually if you don't have others who are making the content about you because you're super well known already, if you're not getting press, then yeah, your staff should be rocking out, making videos or making content themselves, because that is a part of the product and the client experience now. I expect to get emails of really good blogs, and I expect to get value every single time the company wants to reach out to me. It's just a different world.
Yeah, and I think that you can provide
It's a good show on NBC.
someone that isn't even a user a good experience on if they decided to even take action and do something that's in your lane, that they would call you.
That's exactly
If you can
right.
get people that aren't even interested in what you do to just kind of like it and support what you're doing, it means that you're teaching it well enough for anyone to, if they're going to decide to spend money on it, they're going to spend money on you.
And then what happens? So those people that you're referencing who really weren't even interested in upgrading their flooring, well, you stick with that as an example, right? But they're, like you said, they're watching it and they're supporting it. And what's going to happen is down the road, when they actually do need it, that you're going to be top of mind to them. Or when they have a family member or a friend or whatever, and they need something, they're like, hey, you got anybody you use or whatever? Everybody's got a guy, right? Well, then that's when you get a referral. And that's why it's hilarious to meet with kind of like old school business owners who are, they're sold on social media. Like they're like, I know I need to do it, but they're still very skeptical of it working. And they're like, well, we're a word of mouth business. And it's like, well, that's what this is. This is a word of mouth business.
Yeah,
it's called social for a reason.
That's exactly
Crazy.
right. So
Crazy.
You can increasing referral traffic and getting word of mouth referrals through social is gold, because people are going to trust the referral and the review of their friend more than they are, a TV commercial. It's just
The
way
other
it
thing
is.
about social media is, and this is where, again, this is for me as a user and for my business only, but social media is always going to be first. And because I can directly contact Grant Cardone or Gary Vaynerchuk to their phone. If I go through the website, I have to deal with 20 other people and I'm never going to get to them.
Well, you know them.
True, but the best way to get to know them is by messaging them, and that's how I got a hold of them in the first place. So they all work together. The Instagram is a website that runs on Instagram.com that has a mobile app that we all use. All it is a website. All Instagram.com is a website that we use as a mobile app.
Right.
So all of these things, they're the same thing. It's what I say. Of course, I'm going to have multiple different websites, but what's the main hub? For Cardone, his personal brand website's different from the Cardone Capital or the Cardone apartment complexes. Those are different businesses. So everybody has it all. So it's just important for everybody to understand that there's separate pieces and compartments and that they all work together.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the thing. You have to create an ecosystem online. Like what you said, the thing with websites about how it shows up on Google, when you looked me up, it was like mainly just social media pages. Like my website pages were not even active on like the ClickFunnels system.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so that's okay. It's all good. It doesn't mean it hasn't gotten me sales or hasn't worked for me, because it clearly freaking has.
That's actually
but
a great
does that mean
point.
it's a great website solution? I don't know. Probably not.
Yeah. Well,
It's a great landing page, though. It works for what it works for.
Right.
But that one thing can't do everything. Just like Facebook can't do everything, Instagram can't do everything. You have to be everywhere.
Right, because you have to be where your audience, or your target market, your target audience is. And the reality is that your target audience is everywhere.
Right. And so where do we send them? That's the next thing. You can communicate with people and this and that and the other thing, but where are you going to send them? Right. When they buy your service or they talk to your team or they escalate up the value ladder into a buying sequence. Now where are we going to send them? Because it's not me. It's my company. Well, you go talk to the company for that. Okay, well, what's the website?
Right.
That's when they're ready to buy. That's when they ask for the website. Yeah. So you have to be careful not having a website, or the serious, like you said, the serious elite high paying user is going to be like, okay, well, how does it work? Does this explain how? Oh, I can see. And that's where I think that the landing pages got so simple for people that they thought they could just get away with just having a landing page forever, because it does explain it. It does get them to click through. You can book a phone call and bing, bang, boom. But then once you get to a scaled number where you're actually are making X amount of dollars and you want to grow to making multiple millions of dollars, well, that's going to require cloning all the stuff that's already working.
Right.
Yeah,
Which means that you're going to have to install some kind of system or process that allows that to happen. And whatever got you here isn't going to be that.
And as somebody who, like, when I was starting out, I had a website. I think it was just Squarespace, and it was more or less a landing page. It was a website, but I mean, I made it, I designed it, whatever. And I think that I think when you're in that stage, if you're starting out and when you're just at that point where you're creating a job for yourself, I think it's totally okay to have a website that's kind of antiquated looking, or
Totally.
as long as it's functional and has the contact info, that's all you need. But when you get to that point where, okay, now I've created a job for myself, okay, now I've hired people, now we're actually a business, and now we're ready to scale and actually be a multi-million-dollar company, well, then that's when you really need that presence and that shine, because there is credibility to it. And that doesn't mean you can't, it's just like anything else. You can't fake that either. So if you're one of those companies that pretends to do good work and you have a website that shows off the pretend work, that's awesome, but eventually it's not going to save you in the end.
Well, the other thing is that the website should mirror exactly what's happening that's working in your company.
Correct.
We're focused on our service being awesome, not how pretty our website looks.
Right.
And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. And so once we move this into position, this is going to be where all the clients and all the free group members and all the mastermind members all go to log in. And so now we take everything that's already working and install it in a portal where everyone can log in. That's not all this different stuff.
Right.
It doesn't mean all this different stuff doesn't work. It does. Does that mean it's the most efficient and most scalable moving forward? No.
Well said.
So you just have to figure out how all these little compartments work. What we do in the company works, and we're making money and our customers are making money. That's number freaking one. Too many people are like, I got to have this and I got to have that. It's like, no, you need some fucking sales because you can't pay your car insurance. And you're talking to me about fucking scaling and branding and marketing.
That's a fun industry right now.
So you got to be careful with overthinking everything and just do. And then when something breaks, you just fix it. And then it moves faster, and then it breaks even faster. And then you can fix it even faster until it's ultimately moving without you touching it. That's when you're starting to move. Pow, pow, pow. Because these other people we're dealing with that are in these spaces are moving so fast already because they've got so much momentum. And the only way we're going to keep up with them is if we increase our speed. And that means we need to have people around us that can do stuff that we don't want to deal with.
That's right.
So
delegate, automate.
Well, and the other thing is most people don't want to deal with social media, so they just don't do it. Well, that's a huge mistake because you're going to look back 5 years from now and you're going to wish you had that traffic.
Because it's a lot of fucking work and a lot of fucking time. And even if you spend the time and the work on it, you might not be that good at it yet. So there's a lot of layers to it. But if you're not starting, then you're screwed.
And that goes into the same thing of if you're not starting with a website, then you're never going to have one, Zach. If people can't get a hold of you and they can't find you, are they even going to buy anything?
I mean, if I can't Google you, I'm not going to take you seriously.
Right.
I mean, I'm a little biased in that, but
exactly.
It's true.
So you have to think about what is the user experience.
That's right.
Yeah.
And
oh yeah.
Because as entrepreneurs, it's all about what we like and what we're passionate about. And it's like, cool. Well, like Brad said a few years ago, I think it's awesome that you do the music thing, dude. But being a host, video marketer, make you way more money.
He was right.
Totally right. So you got to be aware of where are those pivots. It doesn't mean that you're not great at what you do. It just means you have to meet the marketplace demand. And I think right now, the marketplace demand for us is getting people onto camera because most people are fucking terrified of filming. They're terrified. Right. And it makes them terrible on camera because they're so scared. When in reality, it's like the dumbest people like me that don't know anything are willing to go out there and look like an idiot because they don't care. And so they get the best information, the best tips, the best links to all the best experts, because I don't care if I look stupid in certain situations so that I can improve. And what you'll realize is actual people that are doing anything, that are successful, would love to talk to more people that are specific about what they want to do and have the right questions and pivot and execute immediately. Because how many times does Tony Robbins or Brad or any of those people meet somebody and give them advice and they just don't do anything with it?
Right. It's one thing to listen to advice, but if you don't apply it, what the hell's the point?
And so I understand why some of the alpha coaches get frustrated when they give all this common sense advice and fundamentals and foundations. Whether you like them or not is your own thing. But a lot of the gurus' fundamentals are solid. And most people hear it and see it and post it and repost it and post Ralph Waldo Emerson's version of it and then don't do anything.
Right. Well, and back to your point about, the fear of being on camera. I mean, I've been on camera in college. I was on camera doing KOMU stuff at Mizzou, and have been doing camera stuff off and on since then. And about 2 hours ago, I was doing a VSL right here in the studio, and how many times did I fuck up? A lot. It's not, I think people think that if you screw up and like that they expect you. This isn't like something where it's a perfect, you're not throwing a perfect game every time out or ever. You're going to be screwing up, and that's where the magic of editing comes in.
Well, and the other thing is there's countless examples of this, of where some famous Picasso or whatever drew a gazillion paintings and only 9% of them were successful, or the best baseball hitters, or 20% is the Hall of Fame, or whatever that number is. And it's just, you have to think about the volume of what you're doing. You're better off taking more action than you need. And that's where the Cardone 10X thing actually resonates with people, and why it got so popular in that niche is because you are going to have to work 10 times as hard as you think it's going to take.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And also, not just the effort that you're putting out every day, but it's also a long game. So I think, I don't behold any of these the main influencers or whatever. Like, I think they're great, and I don't think anybody, I think it's fantastic, but I think Alex Hormozi is really good about repeating similar messages. One of them is, if you think it's going to just because you put in the work for a couple years doesn't necessarily mean shit, because it takes a lot of times 10 years and 15 years. And I think we're in a society where everybody is looking for the quick fix. There's no get rich quick schemes anymore. You have to, the idea of everything advancing with technology, and because of that, you don't have to put in the work anymore. It's like, that's not really true.
All the technology
you're still grinding every
does,
day.
right? All the technology does is increase your efficiency.
Correct.
And so yesterday we were able to process 30 clips fast with some AI location tools that we can pull clips faster, but we still have to edit and remix and rearrange the clips to make them sequenced in the correct way, because how we said stuff on the show isn't exactly how it needs to be on a recording.
Correct.
It's just how we were talking about it in the conversation.
Right.
And so I think part of the reason why Zoom culture, if we can move that Zoom culture and that meeting culture into a podcast culture, I think a lot more people will access video, because they'll feel more like it's just a Zoom call.
Which, to those of you watching this who still do Zoom calls without using the video, what are you doing?
Do people do that?
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
People show up on Zoom calls with no video?
I respect. No, sometimes,
I get it if you're having an internet connection, but yeah, it's kind of weird to just talk to a blank screen.
Well, I mean, I don't even know that that's a good business practice at all anyway.
I would agree. So knock it off, you people.
Well, yeah, I mean, again, how you show up and how you look and how you shake somebody's hand, your digital or your virtual representation is the same thing as your in person. And that's where people are breaking the barrier, is you feel like you can get to know somebody.
Right. 100%.
When you're on social media, you can get to know somebody, and you can get to know their personality and their family and what they stand for. And that's how people, it's a huge influence on buying decisions.
Yeah.
Especially with people that are running, like we were talking about, multiple companies. Maybe they own a restaurant. Maybe they own a bunch of real estate. Maybe they've bought a couple HVAC companies in their life. They got a garage door company with another partner.
I mean, if you have an HVAC company, your website's, I mean, you're not getting business if you don't rank on Google.
Oh, I 100% agree. Dude, our buddy Dave Kaz is like all over people for their websites in that group.
Yeah. For home service, things like that. And
that's why I brought it up.
Garage,
that's a good, that you have to have a website.
HVAC, garage door companies. When you Google search and then you go to a site, if it's not easy to book an appointment right then and there, or to see when you can schedule, you just lost a customer.
Yeah,
that actually happened. So I had a garage door company come out to fix the garage door. The first company that I reached on Google. It was a nightmare to try to like contact them. It was more of like send them a message rather than book an appointment. And the second one I found, boom. It was one of the easiest website processes I've ever had. They have a big, nice, red, shiny button right on the homepage that says book an appointment right now. The guy came out the next morning, fixed the shit, and it was great.
Yeah, Google.
So they actually took a customer from the other one that ranked higher, because the one that ranked higher that showed up first for me, their website wasn't as usable and functional as the second one.
Yeah, Google influences like over 60% of all money spent in the world. I mean, it's not up for debate.
Well, just like YouTube's the best paying video platform by far. Everybody knows that. That one's a no-brainer, which is why we're streaming live on YouTube right now. Why wouldn't I?
Yeah.
What about Daily Motion? Are we streaming on Daily Motion?
Daily Motion was fire.
They had great wrestling videos on it.
They had some fire clips. That was kind of the beginning of short form editing, was like Daily Motion style stuff.
Yeah.
I think there's just a ton of opportunity out there for people in the digital payments, digital consulting. All of this can be done like from your house. So I could do podcasts all day long. We could do 24-hour podcast day if we wanted to here. I think we should try and do it sometime.
I think that you should definitely do a 24-hour Pat Hilton podcast telethon or marathon for sure.
That would be nuts.
We got to find a beneficiary though.
Yeah, I think you need sponsors.
Bring back the old Labor Day telethon, the Jerry Lewis telethon. I think they still do that, but we're not gonna. You don't need to do that one though.
No, that'd probably be a little bit much, but it is good there though. Hilton.
Wild.
But yeah, I think it's been productive. We've gotten a lot done. We've figured out ways to just highlight each other's strengths and figure out how we can use that to fill in gaps, because performance gaps. The last thing that you want to do is halt anything that you're doing that's working to try and do something that isn't going to move the needle for you. You have to have somebody else take that over and optimize that so that it pushes you forward.
Yeah. I think
or
also...
or everything halts. Too many people do that.
Well, also because people are worried about everyone being their competitor. And I know that, the Gary V's of the world say you are competing with everybody because everybody's competing for attention. And that's true. But I also think that, there's so much out there. There's so much money out there. There's so many businesses out there. There's so many ways to monetize, that if you have that mindset that you don't want to work with other folks because they're also your competitor, I mean, that's just a stupid way to go.
What you'll really find, especially when you're in niche or when you're in the trenches, is that it's so much more wide than you think it is, because like we said, there's a focus right now on category experts, and sometimes people have to hire multiple people, right? So a lot of times I said this yesterday, there's 3 different media companies that we work with Kyle Mallion. There's 3 different media companies that we work with Nutrition Solutions and Chris Cavallini, and all these people have personal brands and business brands and all this different stuff going on. They own multiple companies, and the HVAC thing has its own website, and they use Service Titan, and it connects to this and X, Y, and Z and all this HubSpot. And I don't know, man, I just see them talking about it inside the chats, and I'm like, that's a whole nother territory of online lead generation.
Yeah, those tech stacks can get pretty intense. I mean, there's thousands of tools that you could.
I see it all in the chats, and I'm like, whoa, that's a lot.
Yeah, they're all viable too. I mean, you can definitely spend a lot of wasted time trying to pick tools. It's really a problem.
I'll let you guys handle that.
Well, software.
Well, what do they need?
Well, it depends who they is.
Right.
You know, I mean, I'm not saying you necessarily need to get super granular, but I mean, if you're a personal brand, I mean, you probably want
your company and your service represented professionally, right?
your
So
company.
what would that look like?
Your company.
Most personal
okay.
brands
Well,
that are successful have some kind of service they
I
sell.
think where most people mess up is their domain, and they don't spend enough on a good domain. You need something that's easy to remember and easy to type. So if your domain is like
So like Social Authority Collective versus socialauthority.ai, like that one. The
that's
other
a
one
huge-
was too
yeah,
long.
That's way too long for me. Yeah,
Right.
I mean, it just doesn't. It literally takes too long to type.
Right.
Imigcommunications.com versus Imig.ai. What's easier? I'll take the 6 letters. now.
I'm
Yeah.
changing. I'm actually building another brand, and I like my domain. It's cool. I mean, my brand is something I've
The
developed. for a
website's
while.
awesome.
Oh, thank you. You can go to it if you'd like. Tech Enterprise, TEK But we're gonna do a new one. We have a new company that we're actually
Nice.
started work on, and that's one of the first things we were talking about. Was like, we need a shorter name. We need
Yeah,
something
the
that's
Enterprise
easy to
is
type in.
long.
So it's awesome when you have when you go tools and you go like purely I want to do lead gen, I want to scale, I want to get in front of as many people as I can. Then yeah, I would say you're probably just going to need to be on social media. Now, if you're talking about a company and like a system for, you know, actually scaling a company, like let's say you have a call center, yeah, you'd need a CRM. I mean, you need to be able to really build your customer database in a way that's going to be organized. So I think that's the first place I go is, you know, what are your priorities? And the priorities are, they're 90% of the time it's we want to scale or we want to sell X number of this. And so what it comes down to is, okay, well, let's talk about who's in your company and what they actually want to use. So if they're very skilled and they're technical and they're sales, they're a very well-oiled machine. I mean, you might want to think about using something like Salesforce, or you might want to think about, you know, if HubSpot's really the right tool for you. I mean, I myself, Go High Level is cool for just kind of my day-to-day stuff, but in terms of like customer data platforms, there's a lot out there. Customer.io is really cool. So it's really more about using your customer list at that point, right? Because you're going to be on the social channels building your ads, making sure that you're getting qualified leads coming in. But then you want to make sure that once you have that contact information, you can use it and you can send stuff out easily, qualify, quantify, whatever you need for your.
Because I feel
your
like
leads list.
people spend so much time talking about like systems and processes and systems.
But they don't actually get into it.
processes.
They just say the word.
But they just say system and process.
Yeah, it's not like you're just gonna make people adopt some system because you're gonna convince them that it's better. I mean, you could make things a million times better. But
And like we said,
is it
everything
believable?
works. You just have to
Right.
figure out how to use each piece in the best optimized way for you as a user.
Yeah, and it is really about the individual person and like what they get out of it. You know, I hate learning new software tools too. So it really has to be worthwhile for me to think, okay, I'm gonna even download this demo. You know, once you've been building your tech stack up and there's a couple of clients that I've worked with where that's kind of what their issue was. New tools came out and they added them on, but they never really went into their leads database and merge them or combine them. And so then what happens, you have different departments using different leads databases. And that gets to be a big problem too. So it's not about technology. I always, as someone who is a technology consultant, a website consultant, it's about people. It's about what the team really wants to accomplish and what tasks can be done quicker. And then if we're talking about websites and like what to use, all of them are fine as long as you can use them.
That's
you're
what
good
I
at them.
always say to people are like, what's the best social media? I'm like, I don't know, man. I would just try to make one video a day and post it everywhere and see which platform responds the best.
Yeah, and all the platforms do kind of have their own, I don't want to say niche, but they do have kind of their own style as far as what content will perform better.
Absolutely.
So once you start getting into that point of, okay, I'm posting this and I'm posting it on all these platforms, which one's doing the best? Okay, and then you look at that and it's consistent over time where that one's always better. It's like, okay, well, that's clearly the Facebook style video that I need on Facebook. And then it's not doing as well on Instagram. I wonder why. And then you tweak that too. So Instagram's still, tough to navigate anyway.
Instagram's awesome. It's just that
Right.
it's very hard to really crack. And I think that people faked it for so long on Instagram that the trust factor is broken there.
I think that's definitely a part of it. I think also for whatever reason, Meta just decided that they didn't want it. It's almost like they've got an identity crisis, they being Instagram itself.
Well, because TikTok came in and gave everybody vertical video reach, and people started
Right.
going viral and getting
Right.
on camera and getting confident, and it created this whole generation of vertical video users, and it completely pioneered the way that people use mobile video.
Which is
and
now-
Facebook and Instagram didn't come up with that, but of course they stole it with Reels, and they're not the originator of a lot of things anymore outside of being the original social networking platform. But now, because they are the original social networking platform, they can plug everybody else's shit in. Like you were saying about WordPress, you're like, WordPress has so much more capability compared to a landing page platform because they're different types of platforms. We can plug all that stuff in to your WordPress thing.
Well, those aren't CRMs,
Right.
right? Those aren't like CMSs either. They're not.
What's
they're,
a CMS?
A lot of letters.
a content management system.
Right. So like an Airtable or something like that.
It's a database. That's a spreadsheet.
Oh,
So we're talking like
I don't know.
We're talking like I have a blog, so the content management system would be like, here's the feature image, here's the text for the blog, right? Like here's some links in the
all right.
footer,
So
you
like
know?
the platform, like ClickFunnels is a content management system.
It's a no code. The difference with ClickFunnels is
'Cause he's so advanced with this,
the
dude.
thing
He's
about
so
the
freaking
thing about
advanced with
ClickFunnels,
websites. It's great.
So websites
I don't know
are
anything about it.
websites are like folders. Okay.
Right.
So you have a folder, and then you name the folder, and all the website pages, they live in the folders, and then
That sounds really comfortable there, Zach.
there you go. And so when you have
Just not with a drafty window.
when you have ClickFunnels, it's not meant to actually be off of like the domain.
Right. It's like a one page.
Yeah, you have hidden
Yeah,
pathways.
there's nothing else but that one thing.
They're called pathways.
Right.
Right. So they have hidden paths, and those are most of your funnels you show me, like, they're not indexed. So
Probably
they
not.
don't show up on Google because they're not supposed to.
Yeah, you see, guys, that's a problem. Well, that's why it's like, it doesn't mean it doesn't work for a sales page, especially if you're like texting
Totally
it to
does.
somebody.
Totally.
Right.
But if let's say
These
you
are
want to buy
different things.
Let's say you
They're
want to
different
buy
sales processes.
Let's say you want to buy a billboard, or you have a radio ad. Like, you definitely need to be found on Google if you are doing promotions in a local
Dude,
area.
you're going to love this. So we were talking about Super Bowl ads, and then we went to like try and find them on YouTube,
Right.
and we like couldn't find them anywhere. They spent
Right.
millions of dollars on these Super Bowl ads. We couldn't find them anywhere.
Right.
And guess where we ended up finding them? On some Instagram page that was built that had all the Super Bowl ads, and you could go through and click on every one of them.
So crazy.
I actually thought that I didn't anticipate us talking about Super Bowl ads today, but I actually thought that it was one of the more this year's version way better than the last 15 years of commercials. There was none of the
Oh,
BS.
this is way better.
There was actually like storytelling.
I got to
with-
be honest,
with
this
some
was
the
one of the more
commercials.
enjoyable Super Bowls in the last 10 years.
Not for
The
me.
Chiefs got smashed.
That was not something I liked.
And I don't even watch football, but I just like seeing people lose that everybody's like emotionally attached to.
Thank you for
Taylor
that.
Swift,
Thank
you know.
you, Pat.
And Taylor got booed. People were talking about that. Did that offend
That was
either one of
crazy.
you?
That doesn't offend me. First off, I was at
You weren't
the-
offended
She
by
just
that?
needs
No,
to shake it off.
I was at the Bills. I was at the Chiefs stadium when they played the Bills, though. Me and my brother went to the game. It was awesome, and so I didn't expect them. I didn't expect a blowout. I thought by the third quarter, I think this game's gonna be over. They have Saquon Barkley.
They
Okay,
do.
like they have Saquon Barkley, and
Who
I
does
don't
he
even,
play for?
Philadelphia.
Yeah, the
Oh.
Eagles, and so.
Best Barkley in Philadelphia since
That
Charles.
guy's if you
That's
don't
right.
know who that is, look him up. He's pretty good.
All right, I'm looking him
He's
up. I'm
pretty
looking him
good.
up. All right, go on.
So yeah, they have Saquon Barkley. So I
Barkley.
don't feel bad that we lost. And the Taylor Swift thing.
Oh
was
yeah, this
crazy.
guy. I remember this guy. He was good.
Pat, what did you think of the halftime show with Kendrick?
I thought the halftime show with Kendrick was good, but I feel like the people that are Kendrick fans are like acting like it was so much more profound than it really was. No one cares.
Yeah.
Like, we thought he was great.
No, it was fine.
No one's saying he wasn't good. We get it.
Right.
Okay. We don't, if
didn't
we're
really-
not like you, then we don't want to be. Right. It's okay. We're cool with that.
I think that's
we
fair.
thought it was dope, but you can't get mad at people that have watched more Super Bowls than you because they're older, that saw Prince in the rain and Michael Jackson stop the entire world, and Kendrick only got 100,000 more viewers than Michael, and Michael had no social media, no YouTube, no LinkedIn, no Facebook, no ads, no anything. And
believe
you got to
that
be
was-
careful with saying something's the greatest when it wasn't.
I believe it.
Kendrick is on the list of one of the better performances in Super Bowl that I've seen, but let's just not get it confused.
I believe Michael was at that Cowboys-Bills Super Bowl, the first one where the Cowboys won like 52-17.
Was that the one where Leon Lett got
Yeah.
the ball and ran it all the
and
way
then-
down and hot dog too soon and then
Right.
got tackled?
And that was probably a few months after that Thanksgiving Day game where there was a blocked kick and he just randomly ran up to the ball and fell on it and then gave the ball back to the Dolphins and they won.
I don't remember that one specifically,
Just
but I do
wonderful.
remember the Super Bowl play.
Just great moments
And there
in
was
sports.
Unreal.
There
history.
was snow on the ground in Dallas that day too.
Oh, just like today.
That's right.
Unbelievable.
That wasn't the only snow they were doing in Dallas in that locker room. Michael Irvin, right?
Unbelievable.
Huh?
Unbelievable, folks. Unreal. It is Wacky Wednesday. We're live, and it doesn't get any better. So we're going to have this socialauthority.ai up soon, and you guys are going to be able to contact Zach and ask him any questions, and he's so smart and advanced about it that he just like hates how stupid questions are. So you got to be careful asking him questions because everybody
I love questions.
Everybody who follows me here on social media, we're social media users. And so the best way to get this thing optimized is for a mobile experience that somebody, like I was telling you, they got to be, because then it's easy for people to use. That's what TikTok did. Facebook, you can go into Facebook and just dump your shit into Facebook. We see it all the time on our news feed. Someone comes on and they just dump their shit onto the news feed. And you're like, why is this person even on my news feed? Somebody might be watching me right now thinking the same thing. But
Fair.
realistically, if your website is that easy to use, facebook.com, then everybody will use it.
I think also there's something to be said about habits, and I think people just go nowadays. Everybody wakes up and they probably have their routine. Whether it's if you're an avid user, you probably are clicking on that thing within the first 10 minutes of you picking up that phone. In my case, I actually like to not have my phone for the first hour of the day, just because I'm on it enough. But
That's right. Yeah, I mean, it just depends. I mean, I hop on it. I see what everybody's doing. I get to work right away. And then I just kind of throughout the day stay in touch with people because the world moves so fast now, and this can make you move so much faster than you've ever been able to move. You don't have to plug into anything. It's wireless. It's connected to every person on the planet, and all you have to do is use it to work with people. And so anything that I want to do that's going to move me forward needs to be mobile optimized, because I think that the mobile is going to move into like headsets, and you're going to be able to use like mobile and headsets that have speakers, because they already have speakers built into the Meta glasses now, the
Right.
Ray-Bans, and you can film and this, and it can go right to your stories. I can have conversations. I can be broadcasting. You can see all the stuff. It's going to get way more connected and easier, but where are people going to go? Where are people going to go to buy your service? Where are they going to go to see your portfolio or who you've spoken on stage with, and a good representation that's going to become even more important, because the social side is the real time, but the website is, like you said, the folder, the documentation, the portal, the hub for where you can see all the people I've worked with and the people that have gone viral. And here's the case study section. I don't have that. Everybody's just kind of work with people.
Oh, you have case studies.
Yeah,
What are
you
you
have
talking
them.
about?
Well, I mean, I do, but
if
you
you
know,
put 'em-
I don't necessarily have it carved out on my contact section, or you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do know what you mean.
I just,
We're gonna fix it.
that's what I'm saying. It's not really in one spot. I can send it to
Oh,
somebody.
you're gonna get it. You're gonna get it.
That is.
You're gonna get it. I'll tell you.
Oh, and you're gonna
get
like
it,
the
never
way-
gonna
you're gonna
get
like the
it,
way you look.
never
I
gonna get
guarantee
it, never
it.
gonna get it, never gonna get it, never
No,
gonna
because
get
your
it.
Wednesday is
you're gonna-
wacky.
No, you're gonna get it. Trust me,
wacky.
I'm pumped.
you're gonna get it.
I love it. I love
gonna
it.
have it up there.
Because the kids need it.
The kid.
The kids out
Is
there.
Chad Maroney commenting today?
Chad Maroney. I haven't seen that many comments today. I think that it's Wednesday. It's a little later.
We're a little more relaxed today.
A little bit more relaxed today, but it's been good. It's been solid. So, ladies and gentlemen, put yourself out there. Social media, put yourself out there. Get your brand going and bring your vision to life. And so if you could give people one piece of advice to close it up here, Zach, on what people can do to optimize their search presence, right?
Optimize search presence.
What would that be?
Be the best you can be, and really learn how to connect and partner with other credible organizations, and don't try to cheat the system. Be a credible business, be organized, understand what users really need out of your site immediately when they land. Search is more complicated than it's really ever been, but Google does not want to partner with companies that are trying to game it. So that means that you actually do need to be a very, very responsible company or brand. So the key takeaway for anything past 2025 that I tell people is Google is a brand, and they want to safeguard their product. They want to be seen as trustworthy. So the more trustworthy your company is, and the more legitimate you guys are, the better. That doesn't always translate to optimizing your anchor text for every keyword, or optimizing your blogs to rank for keywords. You want to be realistic. Google knows that everyone is out there using ChatGPT to manipulate it, and you want to be on the winning side, not on the side of.
Well, if you're using AI, so are they.
That's right.
So
That's
it's
right.
like you're not going to be able to fool the goose that's providing you the egg.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Look at you.
So you got to be careful with that, because as users of the platforms, we're users.
That's right.
At the end of the day, we're the customers, and so we want to be a good customer so that they give us the looks, they give us the passes.
Yeah, you got to play nice. It's not everyone wants to try and cheat and game the system, and Google's probably one of the biggest companies that will ever exist.
Oh yeah,
It's
absolutely.
it's an absolute massive company, and they know everything, and they know when you're trying to just game them for SEO.
Do you think should they be, I don't know if scared's the right word, but I'm going to use it. Should they be scared of like ChatGPT?
If they were owned by Elon Musk, AOC would be like, they need to be shut down.
I think you should be scared. I think they're scared of ChatGPT being so relied on that it's producing stuff that isn't really making anything better. Because GPTs, they just reproduce stuff. They don't come up with anything new.
Right.
So
That's right. They bring everything that's already on the internet.
Yeah, they're just stealing in some ways. I mean, they're repackaging, in really good ways.
But how is
is.
that different from Google? As far as how is that different?
Well, I wonder what the future of search is even going to be now that we're moving
that's kind of
past
where
it.
that's kind of what
Because a lot of
my
people
question
search
is.
on social, a lot of people search on ChatGPT, but for business rankings, I think that Google is always going to be the number one.
I don't think so.
Or maybe it's not.
I don't think so. I mean, I think that people are going to use what they use, and the term of like number one, like what is the number
It changes.
one? Google's always going to be kind of the litmus test for authority in general, in my opinion. But customer journeys there's no dominant customer journey anymore.
That's right.
There's no one place people go to decide that a business is credible or not. They can go learn about something on a podcast, find it on YouTube, see a commercial on TV, have someone share something with them on social media, and it takes like 8 touches, So I don't know if there's anything necessarily dominant, but there are certain industries, or there's certain brands, companies where I say these different focus areas are probably the best.
Right. Well, yeah, I mean, there's got to be, again, it depends on the user experience. And so there's a million different ways for search. But for today, we really wanted to kind of touch on the Google thing because as a user of YouTube and as someone who's streaming on YouTube and doing a podcast that essentially stems from YouTube,
Which Google owns.
right, which Google owns, I need to be extremely aware of how I can utilize that and position that as the front of my funnel.
Yes.
I want people to come into this room and show their expertise off. And so that's what we sell here. And so how do I position that effectively? And it's just by using the tools every day and then building a community and an ecosystem around that for digital users that's easily accessible and easy to use so that my team can service them in the quickest, most efficient way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you definitely have a new horizon, you know, which is just taking everything, all of the awesome. I mean, really, it's about the lives you changed. You know?
Well, right. We can put all of that into one place.
That's right. And it's a living. My dad told me this a while ago, and he's not even a website guy. He's like a traditional sales marketing kind of guy. And he was like, wow, it's really a hard thing for us to do our website. And they even got awards. They're a brewery. I think I was talking about them yesterday. But he said the website's like, it's not like a billboard. It's like a living, breathing thing. You know, it
right.
needs work. It's like a garden. He's like, it needs to grow and be like, you know, essentially maintained. And I think a lot of companies, they don't want that expense. I completely get it.
Well, and I think this is why, as social media users, we're already providing that living experience for our people
Also
every
right.
single day. So how do I take what I'm already outputting and just input it into a place where it lives forever, but that it's in a cohesive, organized, clickable fashion to where people can interact with it and be a user of my stuff, not just a viewer of it.
Yeah, organization.
Because this is nice for the viewer experience, what we're doing today. But how does it lead into the user experience? And what is the user experience? Because social users, we're so worried about views, but we need users or we don't make any money.
Right.
Yeah. That's
So it's just the way it goes. And so I learned this and it branched from landing pages, but now it's just going to have to become more advanced, just like anything else that grows.
Oh, yeah.
And so I think it's really cool. So ladies and gentlemen, get out there, put yourself out there and win out there. Pat, Imig, any final thoughts?
I just want to say that it's been a wonderful 2 days in Dallas, and looking forward to coming back to the hub. I'm sure we'll be back down soon. It's just a short little flight from the STL.
Yeah, it's not far at all. Zach, did you enjoy your stay here at the hub?
I did. I stayed in the Princess Room. It was nice. The Hilton of Murphy is a good place to stay.
It's an unbelievable spot.
Yeah, it's nice. And you know, I'm looking forward to being in Dallas when it's not snowing.
Yeah, that'll be nice, which is usually like every other day of the year. So
Right.
this is a
When
special treat.
When does the 100-degree weather start?
That's probably going to start here probably by the end of March, beginning of April.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
it comes quick.
That's so insane.
It is insane. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, we will see you all on the next one. We are logging out.